Once in a generation, a basketball player comes along who doesn't fit the mold. A player uniquely equipped to not only battle the giants of the NBA, but to strike fear in their hearts. At 6 feet tall and 165 pounds, Allen Iverson was David battling a league full of Goliaths. Freakishly athletic, lightning quick, and some have said more physically intimidating than any center or power forward could ever be. When all is said and done, there simply will never be another Allen Iverson.
It's easy to sum it up when you just talk about practice. We sitting here, I'm supposed to be the franchise player, and we're in here talking about practice. I mean, listen, we talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice.
So, as we done talking about practice for now, let's dive right into the man behind the rant and examine exactly what makes him the one player in NBA history who cannot be compared. Let's just put this one out there before all else. Allen Iverson was just flat out cool. He defined what it meant to be cool on a basketball court. Although he entered the league as a clean-cut, baby-faced rookie, once he started sporting tattoos, cornrows, and headbands, his look was replicated by players all around the league. And let's not forget about the AI compression sleeve. During the 2000-2001 season, Iverson began wearing a long compression sleeve that extended from above the elbow down to the wrist. He wore it to provide relief from painful elbow inflammation caused by bursitis. But if Allen Iverson was wearing it, it didn't matter why. Players and fans loved the look of his color-coordinated elbow sleeves. They started popping up throughout the league, on college campuses, in high school gyms, and on playgrounds around the country. By 2008, the elbow sleeve had become such a basketball fashion statement that it was the most popular non-apparel item sold by the league according to the NBA store. Allen Iverson's fashion influence wasn't limited to on the court. Off the court, AI had a style that was all his own. Baggy jeans and sweatpants, baseball caps, oversized Mitchell & Ness sports jerseys, do-rags, sunglasses, Timberland boots, and outrageous gold and diamond chains and medallions that cost more than most people earn in a year made up a look that even famous rappers and hip-hop artists envied. When other players started imitating AI's style, NBA Commissioner David Stern stepped in to lay down the law. In 2005, Stern instituted a dress code for players at team and league functions. The new regulation called for collared dress shirts, dress slacks or jeans, and dress shoes or loafers. At the time, Stern told the media, "We have a minimum standard that we set that reflects on the professionalism of our sport. I think as it's properly understood, it'll be embraced by everybody." While the media saw this as Stern protecting the NBA's image in the aftermath of the Malice at the Palace brawl and the Kobe Bryant rape charges, many players, including Allen Iverson, saw it as the commissioner not allowing players to be themselves. In 2022, Allen Iverson appeared on comedian Kevin Hart's YouTube show Cold as Balls and reflected on the dress code. He told Hart, "The only time I've ever known about wearing suits was going to church or going to a funeral. I never wore a suit to the basketball court. But I just felt like after the game, I'm going to Fridays and I'm going to the club. I mean, where am I going after the game with a suit on?" He added, "The only reason I felt like the dress code came in was because once they saw I was coming in wearing what I wanted to wear and I was getting away with it, and other guys were like, well, if he can do it, then I can do it too. And that's when everybody in the league started doing it. And that's when David Stern said no. God rest his soul, but that's when he said no." Now, what made Allen Iverson such a special talent? What made him any different than other all-time great small guards? After all, he's not the only small guard that captivated the league. Long story short, he was a freak athlete. For starters, basketball wasn't even his first love growing up. Football was. As a junior at Bethel High School in Hampton, Virginia, Iverson started at quarterback and led his team to a state championship. He also played defensive back and returned kicks. He even set a record as he once intercepted 7 passes in a game as a defensive back. Needless to say, he was named the Associated Press's Virginia State Football Player of the Year and even had a scholarship offer to play at Notre Dame. While Allen Iverson loved football, his mother Ann had other ideas. She didn't like the violent nature of football and didn't want to see an injury ruin her talented son's athletic career. While Mom was right in the end, Allen pushed back in the early years when Ann tried to steer him away from the field and towards the court. He recalled, "I remember the first time when my mom wanted me to play basketball. I came back home from school and she told me I'm going to basketball practice. I cried and told her I don't want to play basketball. I thought basketball was soft." But there was nothing soft about Allen on the court. With an assist from his mother, Iverson chose to focus his incredible talents strictly on basketball, and we can all thank her for that. There is no question that Allen Iverson's relentless motor stems from his football mentality. He was arguably the most fearless player that's ever played the game, and given his small size and slight frame, perhaps it's not arguable at all. AI played in an NBA era of hard-nosed defense and massive centers who patrolled the lane with a lust for shelling out pain for anyone who entered their space. No player took the kind of physical pounding that Iverson took every time he stepped on the court. And despite the consequences, he attacked the rim 6,182 times according to Basketball Reference. His balance, leaping ability, and willingness to absorb contact in the lane separate AI from other small guards considered to be all-time greats like Calvin Murphy, Chris Paul, and even Isaiah Thomas. The NBA game has changed over the years. Even since 2010, which was Allen Iverson's last year in the NBA, the game has evolved rapidly. Small ball with three-point shooters at every position designed to stretch defenses, positionless basketball with 6'8" point forwards initiating the offense, and an emphasis on creating super teams headlined by a big three lineup, such as the 2011 Miami Heat and the 2017 Golden State Warriors, have become what every team in the league strives to be. So could a team led by a tiny little superstar guard even make it to the NBA Finals in today's game? We're going with absolutely freaking not. Final answer. The fact that Iverson's 2000 to 2001 Sixers team made it to the NBA Finals was remarkable. In today's NBA, the headline would be that AI had absolutely no one, that he was a one-man show leading the way. Iverson averaged 31.1 points per game to lead his team and the league in scoring. The next highest scorer on the Sixers, you ask? Defensive-minded power forward Theo Ratliff, who averaged a career-high 12.4 points per game. AI even led this squad that featured a 34-year-old Dikembe Mutombo and a bunch of career role players that included Ratliff, Eric Snow, Aaron McKie, and Tyrone Hill to an epic Game 1 overtime victory over a Kobe and Shaq-led Lakers team that had steamrolled everything in its path. Iverson went off for 48 points, including the famous corner step-back jumper and subsequent step-over of Tyronn Lue that remains alive online as one of the all-time viral NBA plays. And while the Lakers went on to win the next 4 games en route to a championship trophy, AI proved to be the thorn in their side that prevented the Lakers from a perfect undefeated playoff run. Now, no player can escape the critics. This rings especially true for a lightning rod like Allen Iverson. The knock on AI is that he was an inefficient chucker who had to dominate the ball at all times, leaving his teammates to stand around and watch. And while, yes, his biggest strength was attacking the basket, he had tremendous court vision and was a greater passer and distributor than he gets credit for. He averaged 6.2 assists per game for his career. This might not seem like a huge number until you consider that his 21.8 shots attempted per game are the 4th highest in NBA history. Second on the list, Michael Jordan at 22.9 shots per game. No one ever accused MJ of being a selfish player with the kind of ferocity reserved for AI, which is ironic considering Jordan's 5.3 assists career average is less than Iverson's 6.2 assists. No player in the history of the NBA has ever combined the cultural appeal, the freakish athletic ability, the fearless and reckless abandon in attacking the rim, and the intimidating presence that the 6', 165-pound Allen Iverson did for 14 seasons. Outside of Michael Jordan, and perhaps Shaquille O'Neal, there will never be another opponent as menacing as AI, an almost mythical figure who left superstar Paul Pierce scared to death to guard him, and Miami Heat legend Dwayne Wade scared as hell the first time he played against him. Whether he was crossing over Michael Jordan, winning 4 scoring titles and an MVP award, having a dress code targeted at him, or simply talking about practice, Hall of Famer Allen Iverson was an all-time legend who will forever remain unparalleled in his impact both on and off the court.